Okay, so I've gone through like roughly 500 emails. Quite a few of them are, like there's different chains, and you end up clicking further back, and it's like, oh, I already read this. So far, the takeaway that I'm having with Jeffrey Epstein is, well, numerous takeaways. Chiefly, the man is well connected, which I think we all knew, but I didn't personally know like the extent that went. So actually, this was the last one that I opened up. So here's an example of two things: one, his reach, and two, how stupid the censorship is that the FBI put out. And I'll show you what I mean in a sec. But so here's Jeffrey Epstein sending articles and stuff, joking around with this person who is the Minister of Foreign and European Affairs for the Slovak Republic. So, I mean, this is, Minister of Foreign European Affairs, Slovak Republic. So Slovakia, I mean, not the most prominent nation in Europe, not the most prominent position in that nation, but that's still high up. That's still just a random ass-pull of a connection that he has here, where he's on, seemingly like first name basis with Miroslav, which is, I believe, the last name. But it's so funny because you go here, okay, so there's his information, there's his name, and then you're like, okay, well, the phone and the fax are blurred out, and then here's his email, supposedly, that's blurred out. But then if you go back, so this is what I mean by different chains, is, so that was this email right here, but if you click on this one, it's the same email chain. Basically, it's just like formatting errors where they still have this blurred, this blurred, this blurred. Then they blur his name, which we already know what it is based on the other email, and then it's still up here. So it's like, I don't know if that's just like somebody was doing like copy paste and messed up like a copy paste. I don't know what the hell's going on with that. But there's numerous things like this too, where it'll be like blurred, like Larry Summers, who is in all these emails, LHS. It'll have like all of his information up here blurred out, but then down here it's like at Larry Summers, and you're like, huh, I wonder who sent this. All in all, I didn't find anything terribly damning. There's only a few things that are like questionable, like where he's talking in code. What I found more interesting was just the network that he seemed to have. The most prominent, I would say, apart from his attorney, was Michael Wolff, which was pretty interesting. And then just like these little connections that he has across different countries and different positions. So yeah, Michael Wolff, here's a big one, where Michael Wolff, who's a quote-unquote journalist, he literally sends Jeffrey Epstein articles for proofreading and edits so that Jeffrey can put things in about Trump or to twist a narrative, which I'll show in a little bit, but it's kind of crazy. Robert Trivers is another big one, where it'll be blocked, and then it'll be there, and then it'll be like down here, and it's just ridiculous. Oh, I didn't actually read this one. That Jewish Nazi is joining our narcissistic psychopath for dinner, how appropriate. So he's talking about Alan Dershowitz, who used to be, I believe, Epstein's lawyer at one point, and well, actually, let me look. Oh yeah, well, here, I actually had him pulled up. Did he support Trump? I know he defended Trump, and this is like the lead-in where there's a lot of conversation that they have about, oh my god, like these two pieces of shit are getting together or whatever. Expert in constitutional law. He was a member of the Simpson defense team. Okay, jeez. Brooklyn native, New England's Patriots. But yeah, he defended Trump, I believe, during his like the whole, tax return, did he evade taxes, not declare income, like that whole thing. Who's still active on Twitter at 87, good for him. Anywho, so that's who they're referring to there. And then, I mean, you just look up these names and you just find more and more people. And I'm not one to like try to make it about this, but there are a lot of Jewish people in his network, which I guess makes sense. Just him being, Epstein and all of that. It makes sense, but I went in not really expecting that. So Weingarten is the other big one. So he's, I believe, Jeffrey's, at this time, current lawyer. Joking around, they're going to meet for dinner or whatever. And love the guy. So he's talking about Steve Bannon here, which is very interesting. So basically, as soon as Steve Bannon was ousted from Trump's camp, which was, I believe, like August of 2017, so like 6 months before this, this was where Jeffrey, and I haven't gone back all the way, like I said, I'm about 500 in, and I've got 1,900 more to go, but it's very interesting watching them, like, just from what I saw, probably from like 200 to 500, is this gradual taking in of Steve Bannon into their fold. And I'll show it in a little bit, but it's like Epstein literally gets Steve like hooked up with different leaders in Europe, like in France, Italy. At one point, Bannon actually wants to get Jeffrey in touch with Imanov. Well, I should be able to show it, but it's like one of Putin's guys. So basically, in order to, it's crazy how obsessed with Trump this whole group is, especially Jeffrey. And I wonder what precipitated that. I mean, obviously they had a falling out, but based on what I've found so far, I don't think there's anything like that Jeffrey has on Trump in terms of like blackmail or anything from when they were friends, from the island or whatever. He doesn't have anything, because there's so many email chains where they're like orchestrating and trying to like twist the news and do different things. Like he has numerous reporters in here where he's giving them notes, which, it just goes to show PBI. So they're Palm Beach International. That's the airport. So there's plenty of these where they're just keeping track of when Trump is coming, when he's going, because of the like restricted fly zones and whatnot. And since he's constantly coming in and going out. So right here is a great example. I think this is the highest one. So here's a good example of his connections, right? So here we have Gene Zeitlin, who was a I think I had it pulled up over here. So he he was a partner at Goldman Sachs. So he's a very prominent banker, investment banker. Chairman of, well, he's been ousted since then because he had like an extramarital affair or something like that. But he is Nigerian, and he was getting in contact with Sultan bin Sulayem, who is the Qatari. Let me see, I had him up here somewhere. Yeah. So he's like the Emirate businessman, obviously. So he's from the the United Arab Emirates. So he's the chairman of Ports and Customs and the Free Zone Corporation. So they were trying to set up a meeting. They weren't able to get to it. So he sent him the following note: Cyprus, blah, blah, blah. So here he goes. Nigeria's trade minister stopped by my home this evening. He was still in town. So it seems like Zeitlin has connections through, whether that's his Nigerian upbringing or Nigerian background with Nigeria's trade minister, and that they were trying to facilitate a meeting with the UAE, and it's being facilitated by Jeffrey Epstein. And I mean, these are big cogs. Like, these aren't, we're talking about the UAE. That is not a small, that's not a small wheel in the machine whatsoever. And I mean, even Nigeria, people often overlook the size, development, and importance of Nigeria. Like, they have way more people than most people think. 230 million. So over 230 million as of 2024, 2025. So like, I think the US right now is at like 337, something like that. So I mean, we're talking about, maybe a top 10 population in the world. It's a CO2, 3.4% annual change, GDP 187.8 billion. Comparing to the United States, that's or China or India or a lot of developed countries, that's not crazy. But I mean, it's one of those African tigers that's coming up. You know how Ireland gets referred to as the Irish tiger or the European tiger, where they just have an up and coming. This was back in like 2014, 2015, but they have an up and coming, stronger than you would expect economy. So it seems like that he's facilitating these connections and whatnot between, pretty big characters. This is the beginning, I believe, of some stuff that gets explored way later. So the criminal tax fraud. So this is where they're looking into whether or not, he's going to potentially be, indicted, or and that's where Dershowitz comes in, is that he is the lawyer who comes in and defends him there. So Trump's so desperate, he's talking Steve Bannon. So there's a lot of stuff between NYT says Trump's talking directly to Steve. So Michael Wolff, again, is constantly popping in and out of here. So they're trying to talk about it, trying to go here. So, at this point, Steve Bannon and him were on the outs, but, maybe there was some back and forth. Mueller questions team Tom Barak, Mueller's investigators, Lisa Baker. Oh, Rick Gates, so throwing Rick under the bus. Gates served this brother up, basically saying that, yeah, Mueller screwed because they got him to flip. And I mean, they just have their fingers on the pulse of all these things that are happening around and to Trump. Plenty of introductions too, like where Ken Starr, Michael Wolff, he's like a network guy. He's just like this spider in a web. Trump's looking for a turn, considering Rifkin, but then they end up talking about Dershowitz there. So this is one that's kind of code. There's a couple more like this that's just kind of like, I wonder what that means. There's no context for this unless there's emails that aren't included in this this compilation, which, let's be real, probably is the case. One, Madonna on the way. So this is 3 points. 1, Madonna on the way. 2, instead of torture photo, maybe portrait of me instead. 3, presentation of Trumpville. So we don't know who this is to. Sometimes he does write emails to himself, or he did write emails to himself. Rest in hell, Jeffrey Epstein. So it's like, I don't know if this is like just a memo to himself. Madonna on the way. Obviously that's probably not like the Madonna. It's probably code for a woman traveling, which with him, who knows what that implicates or what that could possibly mean. So here's one where Steve Bannon is getting involved with It Begins. So basically, this is an article which talks about the Giuseppe, the foreign affairs for like Italy is swung around. This is when Trump made headlines because he wanted to reintroduce Russia into the G7. And this is where he was kind of like the first domino to fall, I believe. Oh, here, this is the bigger thing. So Putin in Vienna, your guy setting up and hosting. So no other context, no other emails about this. But no, like Steve Bannon had connections with Putin's cabinet. There's going to be another email in a little bit that shows another aspect of that. So like these, right, where like I know I can just click that one because it's 1, 2, 3, but sometimes it goes to the like previous ones, like 3 clicks over and all that good stuff. So good Lord, so that's just a rehash of why Jeffrey was basically arrested, why he was put. Oh, Mueller's. So this is a interesting one where it'll go. Mueller's is a tree. Divergent views on Trump. I think weak thoughts. Maybe it was this one. Can you please send me the Wall Street Journal op-ed? So then here's just this guy who just sends it to him. He's like, yeah, here's the op-ed by Rivkin, who they kind of trash later. It's kind of sad, feel bad. So special counsel, they basically go over the whole Mueller thing, which is, at this point, very, very old news. Found no evidence that James Comey tried to influence the election. Now we probably know better. That's still developing too. DNC's server, staggering FBI, so all that. And then he just gives it to him. So he's the one of the authors, I think one of the two authors, and gives it to him, gives it to Steve Bannon. Bannon says, big deal, thinking, yeah, we got him. These are ways that we can throw mud on Mueller, throw mud on Trump. And then Jeffrey even says, I think it's weak. Dude, you want to talk about a generational pedophile? He's a generational fat finger, for typing. It's abysmal how many, he even misspells his own fucking name so many times. So here he's going, I think it's weak. Oh, here. Yeah, see, he gets trashed. So then they kind of cut out David Rivkin there. I think weak thoughts. Well, I don't know which one comes first. Steve says big deal after, and he says, exactly my view on Facebook. I thought you might look at the recent internet and privacy options, post some open questions to be discussed. Mark wants to bring the internet to the rest of the world and healthcare. His wife is nice but boring. What do you see as the challenges? What does she or he see? Social. So they're talking about David Rivkin right there. So it's kind of okay, it's not the strongest article, but let's check him out and see, I don't know, bring him into the fold maybe, and kind of bring him up as a second Matt Wolf, or Michael Wolf, excuse me, who is, you'll see later, completely at Epstein's beck and call. And then I don't know who this is, but somebody in connection, obviously. Yawn. And David Rivkin is a hack. Zero, and I mean zero chance that a court would find a due process violation in these facts. Fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine does not apply, meaning, Mueller's downfall isn't going to be able to be tied to Trump's. That's basically what they were kind of hoping for and looking at. And then they're thinking, oh, is there a way to spin this? At least that's my interpretation. Everything that I'm going to say during this whole thing is my interpretation of what I'm reading, which, let's be real, is in a very, very limited context, just based on, I guarantee you there are omissions of full emails, as well as, all of the blocks, so there's only so much that we can guess at. But so here's another one. So this is the Russia one, where Thorvald Jagland, Thorbjorn, so I don't know, he's either Norwegian or Danish, maybe. Let me see if I can see who that is really quick. Thorbjorn Jagland. Oh, Prime Minister of where? Holy cow, Prime Minister of Norway, supposedly. So Churkin, who is the Vitaly Churkin, who passed away. He said, Churkin was great. He understood Trump after our conversations. It is not complex. He must be seen to get something. It's that simple. So he's basically saying how to manipulate Trump, or how to get Trump to do what you want while he's getting something that he wants, is that he has to walk away with something. So you have to trick him into thinking that he's getting something of equal or greater value than you are, because he's the deal maker, the art of the deal. I'm never going to get screwed over. So he says, I think you might suggest to Putin that Lavrov, it's Lavrov. Okay, I thought that was an I. Like I said, dude, generational shit speller. Lavrov can get insight on talking to me. Vitaly Churkin used to, but he died. ? So then here's this prime minister or former prime minister of frickin' Norway. I'll meet Lavrov's assistant on Monday and will suggest. Thank you for a lovely evening. I'll come. This is a bad speller too. It's a second language at least. I'll come to un high level next week. So right here, like we're talking about guys who are adjacent to Putin. That's how far up Epstein's influence went. And I mean, you know, this guy was the former prime minister. Like that's a big deal. I wonder how long he served. Oh, and he was the Secretary General of the Council of Europe, so he actually gets referenced later, but not named. So he was the Secretary General of the Council of Europe for 10 years. Wow. But I mean, that just shows, I don't know if this one shows up later. I might have missed this one. I saw SB, it does actually, Steve Bannon in London yesterday. He seemed especially paranoid about any reporter seeing me with him. My guess is that he's working hard on his relationship with Trump, who he sees as newly ascendant, and being with me might queer that. He went on Hannity. He'll be on Piers Morgan tomorrow. Eye towards the audience. So meeting with right-wingers, basically. So just talking about Steve Bannon meeting like Le Pen. And then it's interesting that they talk about how the right wing for the National Front Party is being funded by Russia, which is pretty interesting. Just funny. Two things here. These guys seem like idiots. Pure Ruritania and Bannon, surrounded by his own thuggish-looking security people and wacky bloggers, advisors. Thrives precisely because the world of populism is so unprofessional. More later on. So, I mean, it's funny when they kind of shit talk each other. November's a toss-up, so just talking about, I think midterms it must be, yeah, because it's 2018. We had President of United Nations, interesting person for you, so talking about Larry Summers potentially meeting the President of the United Nations. Do the Russians have stuff on Trump? That's what Larry Summers is asking. Today was appalling even by his standards. Jeffrey saying, my email is full with similar comments. Wow. Because everybody knows they used to be tight and they assume Jeffrey has dirt on him. But that does not seem to be the case, at least from everything that I've seen. We'll call later, question marks. Like, dude, how much harder is it to spell out the word, right? It's like, and am at what? Like, some of these just seem so arbitrary. Where he's like, direct all scheduling inquiries to my office at there, LHS, emails blacked out, but then it's follow me on Twitter. Like, I hesitate to believe that actual human beings went in and vetted this versus like using AI or going back with like Control F or something. But no, November being a toss-up where they talk about Trump being bad for business and being bad for finance and wanting to shift the balance of power back to the left. Your boy should distance himself, which there's no context for this. I would assume it's Steve Bannon, because at this point he was still trying to play nice. That's just pure conjecture from my point. Yeah, do the Russians have stuff on Trump? And I mean, there's still stuff that I didn't even click through because I was like, I'll probably ignore that one. I'll probably ignore that one. Oh, wait, maybe I should click this one. Now, where's my friend? Again, we don't know who this is, so this might be... I don't know. If you're in New York, maybe I will visit in September. Great. I was told that the Global Council, GCC, leaders will meet Trump on or around September 5th. Hope this dispute comes to an end. Unlikely. Thought so. But yeah, they're very, very concerned with finances is the big thing, and how they don't want too much disruption in the market. Strategist arrives. This was, yeah, just talking about Steve Bannon. Ninth circle, abandon all ye enter. Hicks, if you're going to stay here... Here, this is where he's trying to set him up. If you're going to play here, meaning Europe, you'll have to spend time. Europe by remote doesn't work. Lots and lots of FaceTime and hand-holding. Steve says yes. Jeffrey says it's doable, but time-consuming. There are many leaders of countries we can organize for you to have one-on-ones. However, you will have to come, stay 8 to 10 days, then no more than 2 weeks later the same. The fear is that you will gin up their hopes. Maybe that's a phrase, I don't know. And emotions, and then abandon them. I think you want to be an insider, not an outsider flying in and out. Did you get the first cut of American Carnage, which I believe is a movie or a documentary, whatever? We can talk about it at your convenience. He said 100%. How do I do that? He said it was great. Financed it. He rolls. Officially in Venice, Toronto, New York Film Festival. So yeah, that's the American Carnage. Skipping the Telluride Film Festival because Colorado's not good enough for these people. And then he gives them a number to call. So this to me is very, very concerning, where Jeffrey Epstein is basically offering to coach up Steve Bannon on how to win and gain influence in Europe. And he's literally saying, like, there are many leaders of countries that we can organize for you to have one-on-ones with. So this isn't just limited influence in politics, and he had a bunch of celebrities and rich people, right? Like Bill Gates and Kevin Spacey and people like that, or Bill Clinton. It's like, it's much further reaching than I kind of expected it to be, especially his influence in Europe. I found to be rather disheartening. We'll go here. So yeah, they constantly circle jerk on like any negative posts about Donald Trump. Like it's constant through the whole thing. So it's funny because he actually defends him here, where he goes, I think he makes the argument that it was Trump's money, making it not illegal, though he said he only found out afterwards, and the fact to the indictment was billed as services rendered grossed up. I'm sure this account is flipped anyway. I did talk in detail to Starr, so that's Ken Starr. Yesterday, reindictments, how Trump can make a deal, special counsel. Clinton's, I don't get this part though. Clinton's trash can, yes, Starr gave me more. Yeah. So I don't know what Ken Starr's connection to the Clintons is. So he was was he appointed by? Oh, no. So, which served as the basis of... So he authored the Starr Report, which served as the basis for the impeachment of Bill Clinton, known as the Whitewater Controversy. But I still don't understand what that means, right? Clinton's trash can, yes, Starr gave me more. Which I don't think that's code. I think that's just Jeffrey Epstein not knowing how to fucking type. It makes no difference whether it was his money or not. Issue is failure to disclose, plus the fact that he lied his ass off about it makes clear that he knew it was illegal. And he even says, American Dharma could be a comfortable experience, realities, or he says it down here, rich person problem, call you from New York. So it's just them talking and hoping, basically, that Trump is going to be put on the hook for the... whatever the money thing is, billed as services rendered. I don't know if this is the stormy... There's so many controversies with Trump, so I don't even know if this was unreported income because of his tax returns, or supposed unreported income, or if it's from Stormy Daniels. It might be the Stormy Daniels stuff. Like, I'm not entirely sure. Steve Bannon says GOP, so I'll go over the next one. Confidence. Why did I save this one? Oh, so just a transcript of the conversation where Bob Woodward was interviewing Trump, and Trump's like, I don't remember who the hell you are. I didn't sign up for this or whatever, and just talking about, I mean, it's typical Trump, right? Nobody told me about it. I would have loved to spoke to you, blah, blah, blah. but I think it's just them laughing about it later. Okay, I don't know why I highlighted that one. Maybe I need to read that one again. And then just funny stuff like this, where they, like, Donald Trump only lasted 2 minutes during sex, says Stormy Daniels. So they literally circle jerk on just embarrassing Trump kind of whenever they can. Which, you know, my drama brain really wants to know, like, fully understand, like, why they're so petty, or why Epstein is. Like, beyond politics, right? Like, if it's purely political, I understand disliking Trump and kind of hoping that, you know, he steps in it or whatever. But it's like, I just feel like they go kind of an extra step. So I'm very curious. Oh, here, right here. So this is, we'll go there. This is where he actually defends the no fraud. So he says, where the tax story, he's in Florida, anything surprise you? Oh, this is where it was misreported. So Fred gave him $50K as a 3-year-old boy, the compound. I mean, he knows his stuff when it comes to finance. Had a gut where you would come out. He basically says it's all legal. Looking at the quote unquote, like, undeclared income, or the I don't know, failure to declare. And Weingarten says, you know, I had a gut that's where you'd come out. And then Epstein says, I'm fair and not his defender, but even the explanations online were way wrong and based on silliness of understandings. So he's actually defending Trump a little bit here. Isn't the disclosure that Fred stuffed him with the money versus bullshit story of self-made hero valid, important? I mean, maybe. Oh yeah, maybe. So they just disagree on, he says, I think that you're wrong in dismissing it. So basically it's saying there's some hard facts that could be very difficult for him to explain. So, like, they're rooting and digging and compiling negative things about Trump to try to catch him on something. It's just been absolutely prevalent through all of it. Market Watch, that's the tax investigation. Edward Rodlosin. Oh, I didn't check this at all. SA1, coming from an international, Tel Aviv, the age of 18, ambassador to the UN, where my mother will be posted as Norwegian. So here's another Norwegian. Interesting. Taking advantage. SA1, change the last sentence. Yeah, so he does this too, where he, like, gives that I may continue my cultural journey. So he, like, coaches. So I wonder if this Larson is connected to somebody important, because he did the same thing with the Jin family in China, or out of Hong Kong, where he was helping the daughter out to schmooze up to the father. Rod Larson, no, he has not been. But, like, that's how he gets in there, you know? Like, that's how he gains, like, social credit with people. Yeah, so we don't know about all that, but for certain, I mean, this email, right, where he's seeking help and is trying to get a push to help get him into NYU. And that also implicates people at NYU, right, in the admissions office, or maybe high up in the, you know, the president or the dean or the whatever, right? Because if this guy's reaching out to, so he is the son of, yeah, Norwegian diplomat, politician, sociologist. Interesting. So, if he's helping Edward with this email, first of all, they had to become connected together somehow, which, you know, that might have been through his father, where it's, it could even be through this guy, Jagland, where he goes, oh no, if your son's applying to NYU, let me get you somebody who's gonna help him out, make sure that he's talking to the right people, make sure that he puts in all the things that he needs to put in to get considered, right? And that's just another example of like how far of a reach he actually had. And then here we actually see Sultan bin Sulaim, which this is the first time that he shows up, which that's who we looked at before from the UAE. So it's just funny because he throws out the Stormy Daniels case, blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of like hate circle jerking. Importance high just called on my way to Atlantic City. Oh, here's another one. So Jeffrey emails first. He says, news, you go first. MBS girl call. Importance high, just called on my way to Atlantic City. My New Jersey client developer bought Trump's casino there, and there's a big event tonight. My table mates are Fat Chris Christie, shots fired, Bo Deedle, and Pitbull. I will have some stories. Feels like I have not had contact with you for a long time. So this is where, man, MBS, I don't know what that could mean. Maybe that's obvious and I'm just missing it. Girl call. So I don't know, obviously that's like maybe code. Maybe it's code based on something that they said to each other before. The Palm House Hotel. That we don't really need to look at that one actually. Oh yeah, so here's another hilarious example of failure to be consistent. So here, triversenior@gmail.com. So that's Robert Triver. And like, it's the other emails from him, it's literally just out in the open. So I don't get what's going on there. He's interesting though, where they talk about weird shit. Miss chatting with you and back at work. Will give keynote. Texas A&M. Biology is very strong in genetics, and they may be interested. I will lecture them on the recent advances in human evolutionary genetics. So they do talk about here it is. Variance in genetic traits versus like actual average intelligence. So he actually goes into this a little bit later. So he's like a formerly well-respected Robert Trivers. There we go. So he was an academic who his specialty is in like genetics and evolution of social behavior. And so his obviously his association, which it's funny because I actually think we see him ask for more money in these emails just in code, which I'll show you when we get there. So he's a influential evolutionary theorist and all of that. So he's the email here is kind of the first one that I saw, at least because I worked backward, present to further back. He talks about different genetic variants and like desert mammals and how it affects. So then he talks about like Arabs and this whole thing, and it's like, I don't know if this is like just complete blatant racism or if it's making sense, because I'm not a geneticist. I will shortly send you a piece on Trump as a narcissistic sociopath. So I don't know. Obviously this guy is not a great person either. Because he's by the time they're 14 or 15, they're grown women. I don't see their acts as heinous. Epstein's a person of integrity. So he kind of hanging off the jock there a little bit. So probably not a very good person. But I was trying to see if this was him making a hit piece or just sharing an article, and I'm pretty sure it was just sharing an article later on, just kind of more of that circle jerk that they do. We'll give the keynote. Oh, that's what I literally just clicked. Come on. That's the initial, earning the $200,000 a year in today's money, and they just kind of rip the article for being poorly written. Oh, did I have this somewhere else? So Tom Pritzker is another person. Oh yeah, where he is introducing Jack Lang to Tom Pritzker, who is, I think, the cousin of the governor of Illinois, I believe. I had that in here too. Yeah, right there. So this is Tom Pritzker. He's old as hell. He's like 75. So these are old photos. And then J.B. Pritzker is, I believe, his cousin, which is just kind of interesting. And they're billionaires through Hyatt hotels, Pritzker Prize, all that. But film, conversations, whatever. So it's like he has his fingers in kind of everything. I think that was pretty much everything on this page. Shared article. Trump aide helped sex abuser get cushy plea deal. So this is just more stuff that they go, every outlet needs a sex story. Now Dershowitz isn't involved, rather he's a high-powered lawyer. I don't know if you had Lefkowitz. Try a case with him, meeting clearly worked out well. He's apparently a successful lawyer. One thing for sure the article gets wrong, that the quote-unquote victims were silenced. So I don't know if that's just them being misogynistic and terrible or not. Probably. I don't know. Here's where they're doing a bait and switch for KU Jin. So they picked this up later, I think like on the second or third page from the beginning. Did RA come back with answers to the yellow highlighted? Did you take a look at the section that is written up? And then Larry Summers is talking, so he forwards this to Epstein and says, think no response for a while, probably appropriate. And then he just goes off and said, oh, I had lunch with, oh, we don't know who he had lunch with. Is Trump getting crazier as many of my pals think, or is it just crazy? So, and again, Larry Summers, so here's his name. Before that was blocked out, and his email was blocked out, but then he still has his Twitter and his website. Like I don't get it. So here's actually where they begin, where they're keying her up for the same thing as with Edward Rod Larson, where she is basically asking them to edit a bunch of writing, and they're just saying, oh yeah, let her wait a little bit. We don't want to make her feel too important. And KU Jin just happens to be the daughter of like one of the most influential bankers in China. Let me see if I had him in here. Jin Li Chun. So that's his daughter that they're emailing with right here. Oh, and she's pretty attractive too. Probably not relevant. I don't know. I think she's attractive. How old is she? Oh, 43. Yeah, whatever. Anyway. So, yeah, he's a Chinese banker. He's the founding president of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. But he's been involved, like, all throughout. He was the vice minister of finance in China from 1998 to 2003. Very well educated. I've been here. Interesting. Nankai University. Maybe I saw him at some point without knowing each other. But no, he's a big bank guy. And this is just, it goes back to G-Day, Zeitland, and the UAE, potential contacts in Qatar, now investment banks in China, sovereign wealth fund. He managed the sovereign wealth funds and stuff. Like he's got long claws, and he had them in a lot of different enterprises and different, so Steady Crazy, but now Frightened, Yes Quiet. See if the pace picks up or slows. She sounds, yeah, see, look, she's already beginning to sound needy. Nice. Now, any other person saying this, you go, oh, what a manipulative, okay, whatever. But Epstein, like, just look at that. She's already beginning to sound needy. Nice. Like, that just fucking creeps me out, man. How the Turks got their recording. Oh, I didn't see this. Huffington Post, Fethullah Gulen, Tiap, Erdogan, U.S. removal. So fucking much going on. No one asked how Turks got the recording too for you. Steve says the Republicans also want Trump gone. He is now a liability. I mean, I feel like that was kind of the story of his first term, right? Was like he got elected, he was fighting against the Democrats, and then he was fighting against like half the Republicans at the same time. And that's when we had the midterms, and then Joe Biden. We had a lot of traditional rhinos cycled out for MAGA rhinos. Just got that recording. Can't complain this far. Oh yeah, this was nothing. I liked your Trump exaggerations, not lies. Can't complain this far. I didn't look who that was. So we're getting there. Chris Christie says he declined his next offer, which I mean I would deny that too. Michael Cohen sentenced. Yeah, so this is he finally got sentenced. So that's them just kind of following up on that. Alex Acosta. Okay, so here's Michael Wolff stuff. Do you think the press would react to the fact that all the settlement money, meaning I think his settlement when he got caught with the underage girls, in, I think that was when he was in Florida, so that was at Palm Beach or whatever. So it's going to the attorney and none to the girls. React to the fact that this case was settled, but the lawyers want to trumpet their success. Michael Wolff, I think it's a useful point, potentially a powerful one, but I don't think anything is going to get attention now. I would look for some reporter to do a more nuanced postmortem in this case, with its Trump overtones, legal joustings, Me Too-isms, and profit motives. Wall Street Journal is definitely the place. Should I or you reach out to Matt or Sean or... So they have these people on call, these reporters at the Wall Street Journal. They have a Rolodex of them. He says, I think you should reach out to Matt Moonviz guy, who I had lunch with. He'd probably use Hiltzig. So it's literally them trying to like manage the news almost, where the story came out in a settlement or whatever, and it's like, okay, we need to pivot, we need to come up with we'll hold on to this card, it's not going to get attention right now, so let's get somebody else, because he can't do it because everybody knows whose side Michael Wolff is on. So, we're going to get one of these other guys to do a nuanced post-mortem on the case, and basically try to sling. So this probably wasn't about Epstein. It was probably about something Trump did. A lot of this is just like, you feel like you're picking up conversations like a third of the way through, and then it's over like halfway. It's really bizarre, because I don't write emails like these guys do. Important side, it's all about Donald Trump, the real villain. Kathy thought this piece was being lauded as a great investigative journalism, so does your suggested PR group have the better contacts to place a story on why it is not? However, to your point, to what end? So it's spin. They're trying to spin doctor. This thing is model journalism, is one more element that could give it legs, another danger. I don't think it's a question now of directly debunking this, because you don't want to go, you don't want to come out too strong against something that's too obvious. Game out everything, creating a structure for thinking this through, definitely not a piecemeal response. Figure out where we want to be and where we can reasonably get and work backwards. Interview with Landon Thomas, something like that, but this has to be war gamed out. Obviously I can contribute, Kathy. Great to get Steve Bannon input, but this needs structure. I think that's why Hiltzig or somebody assembling a plan would be helpful. So Hiltzig was somebody that they were going to get into contact with through the Wall Street Journal. I think we highlight, at the end of the day, it was just prostitution, sex for money, a state crime with state laws, not... This must be about his case then. I don't think you can go legalistic, where, you're picking hairs between federal crimes and state crimes. They've won the high ground, young, vulnerable, poor girls. I'm thinking what Trump would do. So see, even when he's just talking, even when he's talking about, like his own case, he's like obsessed. And like, I want to know why. Trump, never tries to explain, denies, blame media, denigrates somebody else. Claims are ludicrous and self-serving. Media is working with the other side's lawyers. This is all about Donald Trump. All about Donald Trump, the real villain. Yeah, it's interesting, very illuminating in different ways. Oh, I thought something just fell behind me. Oh, this is them talking about, I think is it Jerome Powell? And they're just talking about, like, finances, because Trump wanted to fire him. Yeah, Munchin, Powell, Yellen, going back to Alan Greenspan. Yeah, that's more about their economic interests and whatnot. Oh, that's where Larry goes in. Who knows whether I'm serious? Is it like here, just out of nowhere? Jeffrey to Kathy Rumler, who I've seen the name pop through. You might want to tell your Dem friends that treating Trump like a mafia don ignores the fact that he has great, dangerous power. Tightening the noose too slowly risks a very bad situation. Gambino was never the commander-in-chief. There was little Gambino could do as the walls closed in. Not so with this maniac. So I mean, it does seem like he genuinely fears and hates Trump. I don't know why, but you know, here it seems like he is just encouraging, like, you got to move faster, and you gotta take Trump's legs out from underneath him faster. So it's like I don't know if he's just paranoid. I don't know if he has like really credible reasons for being so, you know, like behaving erratically. They're talking about Trump again. Oh, that's the same. Yeah, that's the follow-up there. Oh, here we go. Here's a great one. Ken would take a stab at the article for the Law Journal. Thanks. So they're like passing it around, and they're taking turns and editing things, and they're talking about, you know, his PR and about, you know, about Trump, about, you know, the controversies that were going on at this time. So thought seems good. Should we evoke Jeffrey Epstein's Clinton connection? President became a proxy for more considerable anger. Likewise, now one reason to revive the story is that is a way to tar a Trump administration official who in the normal course of his duties happened to deal with this case. So they're basically saying, oh, what if we make it left-wing, right-wing when we're on the defense and just try to tar a Trump official? I don't know who they're talking about right there, but there should be a line in there which clearly confirms that Jeffrey Epstein understands and recognizes he did something wrong. Oh, so here's Matthew Hiltzik. So that's the guy, the Wall Street Journal guy. Yeah, I mean, they've got like 5-6 people on this email, CCing back and forth and getting everything just right. G550, they're getting it fixed. So they weren't able to like fly and do some other stuff. They talk about that later. I'll start bottom to top. I think that makes more sense. LSG trip didn't come to PBI yet. Yeah, so this is just where they talk about more of the windows of like, we can't come, or we won't be able to fly from this time to this time, because it seems like they're constantly traveling, like domestic travel, international travel. It's like daily they're moving across the states, and then weekly or bi-weekly they're going overseas. Where are you? Kent, Connecticut. Hear about Bannon in Italy. So that's what was before. Should I take the Huawei CFO? So I don't know who was the Huawei. So Huawei is the like digital, like the Apple of China. Huawei CFO 2018. Ooh, arrested in Vancouver. Interesting. Fraud, violating sanctions against Iran. So yeah, Huawei, I mean, they make phones, they make tablets, they make computer chips, like they do a bunch of stuff, I'm pretty sure. Oh, she's from Sichuan, Chengdu. So maybe it was her at this time. I don't know when she was arrested. December 2018. So yeah, that would have been after. Oh no, that would have been right before this. So she was detained December 1st. This was December 26th. Interesting. So like maybe they didn't know that or something, but or maybe it was her successor. Does it say? I guess I could just change that to 2019. I mean, they might have had an interim CFO. They might have had other stuff going on. So she was still listed. Meng Wanzhou, house arrest in Canada, fighting U.S. extradition. Oh, so because she was fighting extradition. I gotcha. So obviously she couldn't have gone, but that was only a few weeks before this email was sent. So yeah, like they have connections to Huawei, which is Huawei market cap, which is kind of weird because it doesn't. Yeah, it's Chinese, so it's not, one for one apples. I mean, it's $99 billion in revenue. That's pretty big. That's very big. Oh, it's employee owned. Well, I guess that makes sense if they're doing communist, quote unquote, worker owned capital for businesses. We'll have lots of good gossip. Trump streaming at people as they are vacation while he sits in the White House is funny. So again, it's like they just bring him up out of nowhere. It's funny. They're just like, "Oh, where are you? I'm here. Here, call this number." And every number, it's a different number. It's crazy. I don't know how many phones this guy had. We'll have lots of good gossip. Oh, so that's probably the gossip is something that happened. But it's just funny how often he gets brought up seemingly out of the blue. Privilege redacted. I'm off to Europe tomorrow. Then I'm going to have to change the world decisions without you. I'm in London tomorrow to Friday, but I assume you're going to Paris. What number are you on? I won't talk sensitive. I want to tell you Google. At Cheryl, sitting with her watching Trump shit. Is Google going to happen? I have 2 more bidders. I don't know. I don't think we know what that means. Jesus fucking Christ, give me one of them. Ready for a change. Rico claim. Are you nuts? I'm a... you are not in New York City now, are you? Are you nuts? I'm a cowardly, warm-blooded Jew. Call me. So he's probably denigrating somebody or just making a name. I will at some point. What time do you leave tomorrow? Turns out you're right about Sydney. They're going to wait their turn. Civil or crime, fun. Seem to imply that your new guy could only shoot blanks. If that's so, easy decision. So I have to figure out what my role is. Not my new guy, repping him. Septo, deja vu. If he wants you to rep, yes. SoftBank Vision Fund, Jeffrey Epstein, Brad, represents SoftBank. I have been called many things in the press recently. Retarded is not one of them. Kathy would tackle me if I were to save you. Okay, Naked Sanchez. I don't know. These, first off, they can't type for shit. Like, capitalize your stuff, guys. As you may know, I am very good friends with the Secretary General Council of Europe. So that must be the Thorbjorn Jagland, I assume. Human Rights Court, they know each other well. Go slow if you got a chance. Very small world. Just wanted to make sure if Brad and Reed were in a burning building and you could only save one. I don't know. Maybe they feel the walls closing around them right now at this point. Let's offer. He wants me to hire him, as is often but not always the case. You should just get the book on him. So he's like, oh, do you know this French-Israeli lawyer named Ron Sofer who has his main office in Paris? A Yid who also works out of New York City. Yes, he does know him. See if you can't get the book on him. Maybe that's what that means. I don't know. That was nothing. Opportunity zones. That was just, different places this is like financial stuff. I was pretty sure. Oh, here's what. Well, this shows up more. Blank worked at Mar-a-Lago. She was the one that accused Prince Andrew. Trump said he asked me to resign. Never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So, I mean, we already know, right, based on a couple of the anecdotes or the stories, that Jeffrey Epstein, you know, would tour the girls around, or they would, you know, comment on them, like the one that he supposedly said, like, oh, she's a young one, but she's a good one, or something like that, and Trump and him, like, chuckled, right? So, and I believe this is about Mar-a-Lago, saying that he threw him out of Mar-a-Lago, but he's saying that Trump asked him to resign from his membership, maybe, I don't know. And then I don't know how we are supposed to take that. Prostitution is a state crime. It's that same crap. Oh my gosh, yeah, this one almost gave me a conniption. So this is him writing to himself. So remember I said that he'll email himself like notes and stuff. It's just, look, prostitution is a state crime. First of all, like almost nothing is capitalized. I mean, he capitalized Florida, good for him. Some proper nouns get it, some proper nouns don't. Alphabet organizations get it. There is a felony solicitation for third offense. So he's basically complaining about what he got. He got shafted, is basically what he said. So he's like, he was getting pulled my garbage for months. They were surveilling the house, letting all the girls come and go. They did not like the grand jury result, had to leak to the press, raw sewage of interviews. No girl was cross-examined ever. Unheard of. Blank, the girls returned to the house multiple times. $200 for a rub and tug. No sex. Some worked in the local massage parlors, most in their mid-20s. There's only press stories told my strippers of me buying my girlfriend from Slovakia from her parents, girls under 15, all made up to get press. FBI puts a task force together, titled Operation Leap Year, to investigate my personal massage activity. Nuts. Interviews my chiropractor, medical info, etc. Oh, and then this is where he believes that Trump does some kind of sleazy things with and gets like Russian money to basically maintain his solvency. Where he was appraising this property, this house, and Trump buys it at the telephone auction, and then he puts it on the market after putting some money into it, and then it sits for a while, and then it's purchased by this guy, Lulev. So he's basically saying through here, he puts his name on stuff. He like leases his name basically. His income is the gross amount, not his. It pays out more than it takes in, but he lists his revenue as income. Amazing. So he's basically pointing out like some of those loopholes that Trump was accused of, and then he admitted to using. Where he's like, "Well, close the loopholes, but you won't because the same ones that I use are the same ones that your benefits use, or your benefactors, your donors use." So I don't know. That's just him talking about potential dodging or whatever of that. But so he wrote that and he got that edited, whatever, and then he sent it to Michael Wolff so that Michael Wolff could go do a hit piece based on that information. That's basically the takeaway. Yeah, so here, the Russian oligarch who spent the money on that property never moved into it, ultimately tore it down. So he's a large shareholder in the Bank of Cyprus, which was actually, so being implicated in Russian money laundering. It's interesting that that's the bank that was mentioned by Jide Zeitlin, and when he was trying to get into contact with the Bin Sulayem, he said, I didn't get into touch with him, but I left him the following note. Good morning, I hope your travels to Cyprus were smooth. Oh, so maybe not Bank of Cyprus, but maybe it is. In Alamea, blah, blah, blah. Spoke earlier with the vice president. So that's just interesting that Cyprus came up twice, I guess. Man, I hope I didn't skip over the girls follow up the Jin. Oh yeah, they got tips through TSA just so that they know when temporary flight restrictions are, which is I think that's pretty normal. That's pretty innocuous. DOJ to investigate plea bargain. So I don't think that's bizarre. Like, come on, dude, you're a generational trafficker. You are news. I am quiet. Chairman's dinner to discuss trade. Mix of government Bigfoots. We'll need to get someone to staff me. Her job will be to push and organize me. Position her in DC. So he's basically sourcing just somebody to help him. Which, as we know, Jeffrey Epstein really good at sourcing women, right? Of course, I trust you. What's going on? She and say today, tomorrow. Michael Cohen gets prisoner surrender date. This might be about Ghislaine. Of course, I trust what's going on. She flew to London like this. It's crazy. I'd be so jet lagged. London yesterday, back in DC, tonight Dallas, then Seattle, then Tel Aviv. That's a rough one. Seattle to Tel Aviv, totally jet lagged and cranky. But then it's like we get no follow-up off that. At least none that I saw. Where it's just like, it seems like there would be responses to that and that conversation continues, and it just doesn't. Well, according to these, it doesn't. So here's Michael Wolff once again asking for basically a stamp of like, this is what I'm going with. What do you think? Boy, if she believed in Santa, Melania didn't think that was funny. Clearly a guy who'd never dealt with a 7-year-old. Oh, here's Lily Sanchez. That's the one who he said he wanted to see like naked Lily Sanchez, wasn't it? Bar, looking in. LS Law Firm. Yeah, I don't know. That was definitely her name though, from earlier. Call from New Yorker. Is that coming through here? Okay, best to make reversible errors. I've written note for exit strategy. Oh, I didn't read this. Not going to send for a few days, going to treat it all as a game, maybe see her in Beijing. Act and out of character, ignore and look past her bad behavior. Best to stop obsessing? Ooh, I wonder who they're talking about. Like, is it, well, I guess, no, she'd already have been under house arrest in, possibly extradited at this point. The, Huawei CFO. Bad form in the ladder. It's supposed to be face-to-face. This is only first quarter of the game. If you call a timeout, it's on the field and done with dignity. You can't retreat into the locker room and send a note to the opposing side. In the next quarter, she will appreciate whatever you've said with respect. Huh. It's like Trump firing Comey. Show seriousness coming from you, not mutually exclusive. You can be both thoughtful and face-to-face. It's true. I can take a serious note from someone as a deed, not words. What the fuck? Last I looked, you did not have ovaries. Where are you? Home, Boston. We'll try to... Helen Fisher, Anatomy of Love, you might find amusing. I wonder... Call from New Yorker. I wonder who that is. Like, meeting in Beijing. I would imagine it's the Huawei CFO But that's not possible. Yeah. Oh, here's more Lily Sanchez, too. Ah, redacted. Nice. Fun. That's always fun. Anyway, we'll try to wrap this up soon. What am I? Oh my god, I'm at an hour and 9 minutes. Okay. Call from New Yorker. Please call me. POTUS appears. President B757. 750. Boeing 757. So they're just following it. Oh, that's the same guy. That's who's trying to depart Wednesday. So he's the one who's keeping track of flights. Best appointment, Noam Chomsky. Calls Dems focus on Russia a huge gift to Trump. Interesting. Especially now that we know that Noam Chomsky, like, definitely been on the plane, possibly on the island, right? Somers and I talked to Trump, Melania, Hillman Prize winners. They share a lot of articles back and forth. Cavalier. Oh, see, this was before I started starring here, so that I knew which ones were actually worth looking at. Starting to smell sweet, the way you put it. Dude, anybody saying that in this text or this email thread makes me fucking want to hurl. Lunch tomorrow, great. Mueller's statement at 11 will be interesting. Epstein FYI. Roy Black, that's a new name. We have no comment on the Trump story. We're finalizing pleading regarding the plaintiff's position on remedies. Whoa. Somebody's muffler shot. Alright. Roy Black. Esquire. FYI. Okay, that's... whatever. Wolf book. Yeah, he wrote his fucking book. Whatever. Addressing top 5 investor questions. Starting to smell sweet, the way that you put it. Let me see if that continues over here. Probably. Is it a coincidence that the Russian that bought the house, so that's the house that Trump bought for 36 million when it was listed for 40 million, and then he flipped it for 100 after allegedly putting like 20 to 30 in? Is it a coincidence that the Russian that bought the house in Palm Beach and knows all is the same guy that sold a painting last year to, oh, here it is again, MBS for 450? Wow. What kind of a painting is worth at that? I mean, for what Trump bought the house for, 10 mansions. Like, it's like a 22,000 square foot mansion. MBS. So MBS was paying him off. Reminder, Trump overruled Congress on Yemen. Starting to smell sweet, the way you put it. So it's basically saying that this is a new angle that they can use against Trump. That's the starting to smell sweet. My art guy said the painting wasn't very good. You have an art guy. Salvador Mundi, the last known Da Vinci painting in private hands. Purchased it for, wow. I mean, it's a Da Vinci, right? I mean, these kind of like life-changing numbers for like 99% of people, it's amazing. But wait, oh no, I actually remember the story. Yeah, he found the painting at an estate auction. Yeah, and it was discovered to be a Da Vinci. That actually happens more than you'd think. I know like several Dalis have been found that way. And I swear I've read about a couple of Monet paintings where it's just like, you know, it's like when you find a mint condition, perfect barnyard or a barn stored like 67 Mustang, you know, fastback. They don't come along often, and when they do, people will pay out the wazoo for them. So that's interesting. I like that one. I like reading that one. Salvador Mundi, yes, Dad. They're all jumping ship. It's crazy. Let me see what this is about at least. And then I'll wrap up. I'm sorry, this is so long. Not that anybody's going to watch this, but whatever. The Hill, Trump announces departure of White House lawyer Emmett Flood. Oh, it's just more turnover with Trump, which that was the first administration. I remember it was like, oh, wait, we have a new this person. Oh, we have a new this person, because he just kept flipping through people. Inside scoop, Trump's financial disclosures. Ooh, what's this? That was a show. Should I go on talk about the Jeffrey I know? I am in London when you are in Paris. We should try to make progress then. Future, please note. Do I want to rep Arif Naqvi, the founder of Abraj? So he's a lawyer. So I wonder if that was just a case that was pending. Naqvi. Okay. Ooh. I actually was going to type it correctly. Pakistani businessman. Founded the Abraj Group, Aman Foundation. Currently in liquidation due to accusations of fraud. So maybe that's what that was going on. Africa, Asia, Latin America, Middle East, Turkey, Central Asia. Interesting. Because when was this email sent? Mid 2019. Broke rank, sent an anonymous email. Oh yeah, this timeline's lining up. Wall Street Journal. Ooh. World Bank and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation wanted to know why over $200 million in cash was sitting in the fund not invested. They had provisional liquidation. 20 million paid. Okay, he was arrested in the UK. Oh, and he said he was in London, right? Founder of Abraj. Deutsch. Oh, maybe not. Well, he probably... Oh, yeah, right here. I am in London when you are in Paris. We should try to make progress then. So, yeah, maybe he was in there and then saw this case come up and was interested. Granted bail. 3 years imprisonment in absentia. Okay, that's nothing then. That doesn't really matter. Just out of nowhere. Just out of nowhere. You're just like, what? Okay. Like, oh, that's the first one. Yeah, so I did miss the other girl. Sing me for lunch. I hate you. Here, let me just type her name in, and then that'll be my last kind of thing. Jin. K-U Jin. Which that's more of a Korean name in my mind, unless it's supposed to be K-E-I-K. K-U. Steady crazy. If I can hold out till tomorrow, think no response. So maybe it was this one. Oh, I wanted to say how grateful I am and have been your support and also the support of my father's work. I don't say these things often enough, but I hope it is implied. So Larry's just updating Jeremy. Epstein sent 45 minutes after she sent an outline. I had a comment in MTG with her father, flattering her father and saying other China officials had flattered him as well. Trump borderline insane, Dersh a few feet from the border, not much. Will Trump crack into insanity? This is not a new phenomenon. In the past, he was told not to come out of his apartment. That's how they got through near bankruptcy. His strength is remarkable. He is pounded 24/7. I hope someone close to him gets indicted, but not sure. Yeah, just drive him nuts. But that was the last follow-up. So it's basically, oh, we're schmoozing you to get closer to her father, basically, who, as we saw before, is like a very, very prominent economist and businessman in China. So yeah, that's what I've gotten to take a look at so far. Like I said, I made it about 500 in, and there's 2411 total. I don't know, I might keep going, but honestly, this is all such nothing burger bullshit that I don't know why the FBI even bothered releasing it, because nothing new is going to come from this. I think it's literally just distraction, smoke and mirrors. yeah, it's really dumb, and hopefully we do get answers. Hopefully leaks happen or something. I don't know. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this didn't bore you guys too much. Yeah, check you out later.